Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Got my cheat sheet for today's early MLB main slate for today on DraftKings. There is a later main slate and I will do a video for that, but I'm going to post it tomorrow because I am tired. So anyway, before we continue, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my new videos, I would really appreciate that. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPinell16, and if you want access to my entire MLB sheet and my Slack chat, the link is in the description below for my Patreon. So that's enough plugging, let's get into the sheet. So at pitcher today, we have four options I have interest in. We have Garrett Cole up top for obvious reasons, Dustin May, Zach Plesac, and Ivan Nova. I believe he's 7,900. So let's get into a little preview of the pitching sheet, which is one of the things that is available. So let's look at Garrett Cole. Obviously, he's the number one play by far. It's not even close. He is the most expensive pitcher by like 3,000. So I mean, I think you're going to have to spend up for him. I think everyone's going to do that, and there is enough value to get it done today. His numbers are outstanding. 2.82 xFIP, 36% K rate, which is, what is that, like 8%? Yeah, it's like 8 more points above than anyone else. Percentage points, I should say. Now, he doesn't have the best ground ball rate, but who cares? He's getting 36% strikeouts. He's probably going to get double-digit strikeouts in this matchup. He's got a 40% K percentage versus lefties, 34% versus righties, and overall he's just an awesome play tomorrow going against the Rockies, who are much worse away from Coors. Now, the Greinke experiment did not work out very well last night, so that was a dud, but he was 56% owning cash, so hopefully it didn't hurt you. It didn't really hurt me because David Peralta hit a 5% bomb, which was very helpful for me. So I guess we can say I survived Greinke, but I hope you guys did too. But I think Garrett Cole's just going to dominate this lineup. The Rockies really shouldn't stand a chance versus Garrett Cole. Now, if you look at their splits versus righties, it's not going to be as good, but you have to bake Coors into that. So when you take them away from Coors, they're striking out a ton, and they're just not a good team away from their hitter-friendly Coors Field. So I think Garrett Cole's an awesome play. He's got 40-point upside in this matchup, and it wouldn't surprise me for him to get 10 to 14 strikeouts in this matchup. And then our next guy is Zach Plesac at 7,700. I apologize if anyone played the Indians. I did put a little update 20 minutes before lock that the Indians looked a little concerning, and I actually still rolled out Yasiel Puig in cash, and he got 0. Thankfully, I survived, but I hope you guys were a little lighter on Cleveland. The weather, I don't understand why they even canceled the game. I was looking at the radar. It should have cleared out in 30 minutes. I know Kevin Roth was a little upset that they canceled the game too. It looked pretty clear. I know it was downpouring for a while because I'm a little away from Cleveland, but it did stop raining. So it was a quick call for them, but yeah. But I don't mind going right back to the Indians bats, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I do like this spot for Zach Plesac. Now, if you look at his numbers, they are not good at all. 5.21 xFIP. He's getting lucky with that 3.41 ERA. He doesn't have a high strikeout rate. So why do I like him? Well, I like targeting the Rangers away from Texas, and I like using righties versus them, and really lefties, just because they strike out a lot, especially versus righties. If you look at their K percentage versus righties, 25.6%, and they do have a good amount of power, but I think Plesac can overcome that. It's obviously a park downgrade for the Rangers going to Cleveland. Now, I know Cleveland's not the most pitcher-friendly park, but it's still a downgrade from Texas in terms of batting. So I do like Plesac, and he did have a really good game versus them in Texas probably about a month ago. I think he had 28 points, something like that. So I think we can at least get 15 out of him. I think that'd be a pretty good game. Hopefully he can get the win with Ariel Jurado pitching. I think he should be able to get the win as long as the Indians bats cooperate with us. And then we have Dustin May at 7,500. Now, we really can't look at numbers for him because he only has like 5 or 6 innings that one game. He gave up 4 runs, so the numbers, really, we can't go off of him. As you can see, he doesn't even have a walk rate, 12% K rate. Now, his numbers in the minors were much better. He's going to be facing a Cardinals team who has a lot of righties, and I think he can have a decent game here at home. I think he should be able to get us the win, hopefully. And I think he can pitch a little bit better than his first game where he gave up 3 runs. I think so 3 were earned, 4 were 4 runs total. And I think he can just have a solid game at 7,500. SP2 is not very good today. I don't want to play Jack Flaherty versus the Dodgers. I really don't want to play Brendan McKay or Jose Quintana. So that's leaving us with some not so good options in the 7K range. But it's just the nature of this slate. That's what we're going to have to do. Then if we want to get a little dirty, Ivan Nova at 7,300. Now, it's never fun rostering this guy because he's not very good, and he tends to be a guy I stack against. But he gets the matchup versus Detroit, who sucks versus righties. And if we look at their splits versus righties this season, it's bad. You're going to see a lot of green bars. So as you can see, 26.5% K rate, 1.50 team ISO, which is second lowest on the slate. And I believe they have the second highest strikeout rate on the slate. Lowest team WOBA, and just overall really bad numbers. Lowest WRC plus versus righties. So I think it's a really good matchup for Nova. But he's also not a very good pitcher, so I think we get somewhere in between there. As you can see, only a 15% K rate, 4.76 xFIP. He's getting some good amount of ground balls, which is a good sign. He isn't actually allowing a ton of hard contact either at 35%. So I think he can survive. It's not my favorite play, but none of these SP2s are my favorite plays, so I think it's kind of maybe like a mix and match thing. Maybe see who fits after you get your bats in, and I really don't think they're going to kill you, but they don't think they have a ton of upside either. And yeah, that's going to be it. I was going to mention someone else, but I don't feel like doing that because it's gross. So anyway, let's get into the batters. So at catcher, we got Mitch Garver at 5,500 versus Max Fried. Now you're going to see a lot of Braves and Twins on this cheat sheet. That's just because it's probably one of my favorite games to stack up on. Now Max Fried's not the worst pitcher in the world, but he's been worse versus righties. The Twins mash left-handed pitching. They also mash right-handed pitching. They're just an elite offense. And Mitch Garver has been awesome this season versus lefties. He's got an ISO, I think, around 400, if not high 300s. Ton of power versus lefties. Wouldn't surprise me if he went in the yard. Only problem is he's 5,500, and it really hurts me to pay 5,500 for a catcher, but Mitch Garver's been absolutely awesome. He should be either leading off or... No, I think he would be leading off, as he always does versus lefties. And then James McCann, another guy who hits lefties very well. Actually, I think all these guys hit lefties well. Yeah, Tyler Flowers does. So, yeah, but James McCann versus Tyler Alexander. He only has an 8% K rate versus right-handed bats. And just overall gives up a good amount of power and hard contact, too. And the Detroit bullpen sucks. And I do like the White Sox as a good stack today. So, give me some James McCann. Hopefully he's hitting higher than 6th and 7th on the order. I would really love it if he was batting cleanup, but I won't get too greedy there. If he's hitting like 5 to 7, I guess I'll live with it. Then Tyler Flowers at the same price at 3,700 versus Martin Perez. He's much better versus left-handed pitching, and I do like this Braves team overall, so I wouldn't mind throwing him in on a back end of a stack. Then at first base, we have Carlos Santana at 4,400 now. Gerardo is a better pitcher versus lefties. He's a reverse splits righty, but this Indians offense is much better than he is. They're much better hitters than he is a pitcher. So I'm going to give the edge to the Indians lefties here. And Gerardo, just because Gerardo's worse versus righties and better versus lefties does not mean he's very good versus lefties either. He's a very hittable pitcher. So I don't mind the entire Indians lineup here. Then we got CJ Cron at 4,300, another guy on the Twins who smashes left-handed pitching, ISO above 300 or high 200. I can't remember exactly, but he's very good versus lefties. He went yard last time we played him versus a lefty, so that was right off when he came off the IL. So I don't mind going with CJ Cron. He always bats higher in the order versus lefties, because I know he's batting 9th tonight, but that should go up to hopefully 5 through 7. One of those spots would be great. If he was batting cleanup, that'd be awesome. But again, not going to get too greedy there. Then Jose Abreu at 4K. I do have him as a core play versus Alexander. Alexander's just not a very good pitcher, especially to righties, and Abreu hits lefties well. It's a good bullpen to attack if they can get to him early, which they probably will. So I do like Jose Abreu with that price tag. Then second base, Scooter Gennett. Every single day on this slate, pretty much. He's just... Now, is he the best hitter? No, but he's just way too cheap. He got a double earlier. Maybe he did something else. That'd be great if he did. He's only 1% owned. And, I mean, he hit value how cheap he was, so... But really, we don't need much here going against Joe Ross and a really bad Washington bullpen. I think he can easily hit value here as long as he gets a hit and a run, maybe a double if we're lucky, a home run. And then Ozzy Albies at 4,600. He's a much better player versus left-handed pitching. Perez is versus righties. Again, I love the game stack of the Twins and Braves, and Albies makes a lot of sense. He's kind of a streaky guy, so when he's in a groove of hitting, which he's kind of been in, I like to target him there. And he's been hitting much higher in the order than he was a while ago. So I do like Ozzy Albies. Then Jason Kipnis, the days of him being dirt cheap are over, but at 4K, I think we have a decent value, but with the new additions of Puig and Reyes, he's been taking a hit in the order, pretty much, I think, hitting 7th or 8th, but he's been still hitting well. So I don't mind if you want to go with Kipnis just to round off your Indian stack. He should be lower owned unless he gets a really generous spot in the order tomorrow. Again, I don't know where they're going to be hitting. This is at 12 a.m. the day before, so I can't project that, but just based off of history, I assume he's probably going to be batting around 7th. And then third base, Josh Donaldson at 4,800. Just another righty versus Martin Perez. He's been always good versus lefties in his career. And so I do like Donaldson. He should be batting third, fourth. And then Jose Ramirez at 4,100. Or, yeah, for a second. Never mind. Doesn't matter. But Jose Ramirez at 4,100 versus Ariel Jurado. Ramirez is a much better hitter from the left side of the plate. And again, Jurado is better versus lefties, but it does not mean he's that good versus lefties. He's still giving up an ISO around 200. So give me all the Indians tomorrow. I know I'm a homer. I always list them, but hey, they've been pretty good this season after their really, really awful start. And I do think the Indians took a really price hit. Ramirez was 4,800 yesterday. Santana was 4,800. So they had a nice price deduction going against the same pitcher that they were going to go against tomorrow. So it's just inherent value. Then Miguel Sano at 4,700 versus Max Fried, just another righty with power versus lefties. And then at shortstop, Frankie Lindor at 5K. He was 5,500 yesterday, and I still liked him. So at 5K, obviously I have to like him even more versus Jurado. And the Texas bullpen isn't very good either. Then Brandon Crawford at 3,200. These Giants lefties are basically free. They have been all week. So if you need value, that's your place to go. That's going to allow us to fit in Garrett Cole. So that's why I have no problem spending up for him. And you can still get some good offense in as well. So say you want to go like Jeanette and Brandon Crawford. That's only like 6K salary. So basically getting two guys for the price of one elite player, which I know they're not obviously good, but I do think they can hit value pretty easily versus Joe Ross. Then Tim Anderson at 4,300, another part of that White Sox stack I like versus Tyler Alexander. He's been always good versus left-handed pitching. Then in the high-end outfield, we have Nelson Cruz at 5,700. He is on an absolute tear. He hit 3 home runs the other day. I think he hit 2 home runs tonight. So he's just been mashing, and he goes against a lefty. And what is the rule in DFS? When Nelson Cruz is playing a lefty, we play him. The only problem is he's very, very expensive for 5,700. I remember he used to be in that 4K range earlier in the season. But if you're going to be stacking the Twins, I think he's a must because he has that triple dong upside. He's been doing double dongs recently too. So love Nelson Cruz and his power versus lefties. He's one of the best hitters in the league versus left-handed pitching. Then Ronald Acuna Jr. at 5,300. I feel like everyone on my sheet hits left-handed pitching very well. But again, it's the same with Acuna here going against Martin Perez, who gives up more power to righties. And again, I love this game. As you can see, I have a lot of Braves and a lot of Twins listed. And then we have Juan Soto 5,100. I don't love this play, but I was failing to find anyone I loved in the 5K range. I guess Yordan Alvarez is a good option too. I honestly could have put him, but Sean Anderson's a low strikeout guy, worse versus lefties, so I think this is a good spot for Juan Soto. It's not a very good ballpark for hitting, though, I will say, in San Francisco. Then in the mid-range outfield, we have Michael Brantley at 4,700 versus Peter Lambert. Peter Lambert is a dumpster fire to left-handed bats. Low strikeout rate, very high ISO, so I do like Michael Brantley going against the righty. Adam Duvall at 4,500, another righty with power versus a lefty, and he's been hitting the ball really well recently. And then Oscar Mercado at 4,200. He's one of those rare righties on the Indians. And like I said, Jurado's been worse versus right-handed bats this season, and Mercado's been very good. He should be batting second, so I do like Mercado at this reduced price tag of 4,200. Then in the value outfield, we have Yasiel Puig is one of my favorite plays today. I loved him yesterday. I even played him in cash. Unfortunately, the game got postponed, so he got 0 points. But this is an awesome matchup for him. Yasiel Puig's been very good versus right-handed pitching. Jurado's been very bad versus right-handed bats, so it just makes a ton of sense for me. Hopefully he's batting like cleanup. I'd love that. So I do like Yasiel Puig at only 4K. And then Jock Peterson at 4K, just going against a righty. Now, Jack Flaherty is a good pitcher, but his one flaw is left-handed bats. And Peterson's going to be leading off. And then Eloy Jimenez at 3,700, cheap righty on the White Sox versus Alexander. Then Adam Eaton, just a cheap lefty versus Sean Anderson. Now, the top stacks for me today are the Indians, the Braves, the Twins, the Astros, and the White Sox. Now, I know I don't have many Astros listed, but Lambert's he's bad versus righties and lefties. And then the core plays for me right now are Garrett Cole at 11.9, Jose Abreu at 4K, and then Yasiel Puig at 4K. Alright, anyway guys, that's all I got for the video. Hope it was very helpful for you. If you don't mind, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, I would really appreciate that. It really helps me out. And if you want access to my sheet and my Slack chat, hit the link in the description below for Patreon. I'll try to get that late main slate video out tomorrow, hopefully in the morning. And yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. So I wish you guys the best of luck early, and then hopefully we can get back to it on main.